Now, most people, they slow down when they retire, right? Well, Angie Helmley, she was no different, at least for a while. Angie had been an RN for almost 30 years, working in open heart ICU. Now, she'd done a lot of teaching, too, as she had a degree in health and education. Then she retired in her small town in Georgia. And in her words, let my body go to pot. Well, eventually she thought, this is ridiculous, and realized she wanted to be around to see her grandchildren grow up. Her mom had died of a combination of diabetes and Alzheimer's complications, and she was determined to do whatever she could to avoid that fate. She began researching nutrition and food and started exercising. And 9 months later, she had lost 65 pounds. Now, when we went to see her doctor, when she went to see her doctor, she was absolutely amazed. Her lab work was actually better than textbook. So she saw the doctor again a year later. Her numbers were the same. The 65 pounds were still gone. The doctor was incredulous. Angie, she said, I need you to work with my diabetes patients. Well, Angie thought, well, how much golf and canasta can one woman play? Besides, she had already put her husband on a program, and he dropped 31 pounds and all his heart medications. So she told the doctor, yes, I'd like to do that. How about 20 hours per week max? The doctor said, sure. And so began Angie's life as a diabetes educator with 80-hour work weeks. But her doctor couldn't afford to hire her as a diabetes educator. So Angie took matters into her own hands and started her own business. It's called Working on Wellness, or more to the point, WOW. Now, her doctor staff that taught her how to use her billing system, and she helped set up her AADE program. Angie's the billing person, the marketing person, the everything person. And then her doctor said, and you'll need to get your CDE, like it would take about 15 minutes or something. Well, a year and a half later, Angie has her CDE and has helped dozens of patients. Now, one came through the door recently while she was with another patient and said, excuse me, I just have to give Angie a hug. Angie had started working with a woman 3.5 months earlier when she was just diagnosed with diabetes. Her A1C was 10.5, and she was scared to death. She came in to tell Angie she had lost 25 pounds, and her A1C was now 5.7. She said her doctor was thrilled and asked what she'd been doing. Going to the diabetes educator that you referred me to, she said. Yeah, but what else? Nothing. That's amazing, he said. What was her name again? Now, as a diabetes educator, Angie supports her patients in many ways. She has come up with a portion-controlled diet that she would love to share with other diabetes educators. Now, to make this diet an integral part of her patients' lives, she holds cooking classes for them at the county extension office. Now, to do this, she buys the food, preps it at home, and then brings it all into the class so they can learn how to cook healthily for themselves. Now, these classes have been a great success. Patricia Parker, she has diabetes, and as does her son, who drives a truck for UPS. Now, his diabetes was fairly under control until the insurance company stopped paying for one of his medicines. Now, his doctor said he was going to have to go on insulin, but you can't do that and drive a truck. So the doctor suggested they meet with Angie and see if they could get on her program. They did. And in 6 weeks, he'd gone from 180 pounds to 167 and is off one of the 2 meds he was on. His sugar is staying under control, so now he can drive for work. Now, Pat has lost 14 pounds and has gone from 36 units of insulin per day to 2, and sometimes none. I had done every kind of diet imaginable, Pat says. I was walking 5 miles a day, still couldn't lose weight or control my diabetes. Right now, I've got a broken foot, and I can't go walking. Yet with Angie, I'm still losing 2 pounds per week. My sugar cravings are gone. I'm never hungry. I have to set a timer to remind myself to eat. I feel so much better. My job is easier, and I am looking forward to a whole new wardrobe next year. In addition to the cooking classes, Angie teaches Zumba classes. They're a fun way to keep moving. Angie stresses exercise as much as diet, and she has great credibility. She swims a mile every day. She encourages her patients to keep moving in whatever way they can. One of her patients, 78-year-old Dottie, has even taken up Tai Chi. Angie loves what she does, and to her, it's like a puzzle. Now, each person's body is different, she says. I have to figure out how to motivate that person to start, and then how to make them stick with it and not feel sorry for themselves about having diabetes. Now, she had a big challenge with Jay Hodges, who was just diagnosed the first of this year. He met Angie through her church. Now, Jay is 6'10" and was 240 pounds when he started the program. Now, Jay says, when I don't want to do something, I head straight to the state of denial, and I didn't want to deal with diabetes. But Angie made it very clear what I had to do, and I'm doing it. I lost 15 pounds in the first 6 weeks. It's been very difficult to adapt to this new lifestyle, but Angie's been incredibly supportive. She's got my back. Without her help, I'd be heading back to denial pretty quick. Pat Lemming has prediabetes and has been coming to the cooking classes so long that the diet has become her everyday way of eating. She recently went to Disney World with her grandkids and was able to stay on the program without even thinking about it. It's just a part of my life now, she says. Her A1Cs have come down remarkably, and she's been transformed by Angie's two-step process. Now, Angie shows you how to eat and explains the science behind it, she says. That really convinced me. No one had ever taught me about the liver and the pancreas. And once I understood what my body was doing, I was able to help heal it. I'd been dieting my whole life, but this is totally different. It works. Now, of course, the best thing about a cooking class is you get to eat your lesson. Now, the people at the class, they are shocked at how good the food is. And Angie reminds them they can eat like this for the rest of their lives. Her positive attitude is infectious. She doesn't want people singing, poor, poor, pitiful me, I have to eat lousy food for the rest of my life. No, she wants them to see how good food can be. And she's not slowing down. Angie is working with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Georgia on a grant for obesity and pre-diabetes training to teach the kids and their parents proper cooking for preventative care. And she hopes the Georgia program will go national. Ultimately, Angie wants to help everyone enjoy the same simple pleasures of healthy food and regular exercise that she's experienced from the day she decided to stop her body from going to pot. And with her incredible positive attitude and unflagging support, she is doing just that, one patient at a time.